Canadian border mayors are uniting to get ready for 25% tariff U.S. President Donald Trump says is coming on Canadian goods tomorrow.
I'll be putting the tariff of 25% on Canada and separately 25% on Mexico. And we will really have to do that because we have very big deficits with those countries. Those tariffs may or may not rise with time.
The new Border Mayors Alliance includes Canadian mayors of cities and towns along the Canada-U.S. border right across the country. The group is highlighting how their municipalities would be affected by these tariffs. Sault Ste. Marie Mayor Matthew Shoemaker is a member of the Border Mayors Alliance. He's our guest in studio this morning. Hey, welcome. Great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
How are you feeling this morning, especially after seeing that press conference yesterday?
It's a worrisome time. We are, generally in good economic shape in Sault Ste. Marie, but this is throwing everything up in the air, so it's uncertain.
When you say it's throwing everything up in the air, what's your biggest concern? What's your biggest worry?
Well, we faced steel tariffs in 2017-18 when President Trump was in his first term, and it was painful. It was millions of dollars out of our local economy that the steel plant was, which is our main economic industry, was not able to put back into the economy, not able to spend on local contractors, not able to spend on upgrading their mill, and so it required the federal government essentially to step in and make huge multi-million-dollar investments in our steel plant, which are still ongoing. But I worry that if the tariffs are across the entire economy this time, the federal government won't be able to respond with quite as much investment as is needed across the country.
Which is why I'm glad you're here, because this is what we keep hearing, is there's a united front from the feds, but really it's the municipalities, the provinces and the towns like Sault Ste. Marie that will be directly affected. What is your plan?
Well, we have been working with the mayor in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, and the council in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, right across the border from us, to make sure that we are actively lobbying the...
Can I ask you, Mayor,
Yes.
what are those conversations like?
Yeah, they're hard conversations. I mean, no American community is very willing or eager to go up against their own government, but we have built these relationships over a decade that I've been on council, and my predecessors working with the mayors in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, and Michigan, to make sure we have the trust of one another to be able to have the difficult conversations that we're having. And the steel plant, as well as the community, are going to be working to use their suppliers and use their customers to try and lobby the American government, because the reality is it is going to be Americans that get the American government to change their mind, not Canadians. Yep. So we need to use our American connections to the greatest degree possible to get the American government.
The sense we're getting since this administration took office, so the last 10 days or so, is it is really a top-down decision. Nobody acts until Donald Trump says how to act, and then they all repeat the same line. So you and your counterpart may be having these conversations and be in agreement of what this will do to both of your economies. But if it comes from the White House that this is happening, how do you negotiate that?
Well, what we have experience with from the 2017-18 steel tariffs is that when countermeasures were put on American products, it really did change the narrative. And there must have been at the time, I wasn't the mayor at the time, there must have been at the time people saying to the president, this is hurting our economy, or this is hurting our specific industry.
But he operates differently this time. I watched him last time, and this is a different MO.
It is, but the reality is the federal government, and the difficulty for the Border Mayors Alliance is we're not at that table, and we wish to be.
Yeah.
But the reality is they will put what appears to be an ever-increasing number of counter tariffs on until the message gets through. So while it's different this time, it may require a more difficult set of tariffs. It may be longer. Last time was about 11 months. And it may challenge the Canadian economy worse than it did last time. But we are, I think, approaching a situation where counter tariffs are going to be one of the main measures in the tool bag.
What does that look like for your region?
It's bad. It's bad for our region. We have, border traffic crossing constantly from the steel plant. We have rail traffic crossing constantly, air traffic. Those people stay in Sault Ste. Marie hotels. Those people eat at Sault Ste. Marie restaurants. And so if there is a reduction in the economic activity between the communities, it is a direct impact to the city's bottom line, direct impact to the retailer's bottom line in our community. And it's going to be a hard time before we get to the other side of this.
It's going to fall to mayors like yourself to then support the people in your community once these tariffs come into place. What kind of measures are you planning?
Well, we're working with our counterparts in the Border Mayor Alliance community. We are working on trying to have these conversations with our neighbors. I mean, I'm not the only community that's got an American neighbor on the other side. Everybody that we can work with, and if they can work with their congressman or their senator, you know, in Michigan, there's 2 Democratic senators, so it's not, I would say, the most helpful group of people that are going to have the president's ear. But we have, you know, Republican congressmen on the immediate other side of the border. And we are going to try and use those connections to lobby the American government.
As you await to see what and how much these tariffs will be on Saturday, and again, we're learning there's phase 2, so there could be a second phase coming. What will you be doing Saturday?
Talking to industry, talking to community, and making sure that whatever they think that the municipality needs to be advocating on their behalf, because the message does change depending on the industry, right? So it's about getting the message from all of them and making sure that we are approaching it in the way that is most beneficial to all of our industry and all of our residents.
It's a really tense time, and you know, a lot of people are looking to you for some answers. Thanks for coming on Your Morning today.
Thank you for having me.
If you liked that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.